2019 has been tough for farmers like Andy Spiegel.
Because the water table is so high.
His family farm in Watson, Missouri flooded this spring and is still underwater.
As you can see, the water is still there. It has dropped probably 5 or 6 feet, but there's still water standing on the road and in all the fields.
He intended to plant around 2,300 acres of corn and soybeans, but with 1,600 acres still underwater, he only planted around 400 each.
It's been frustrating, to say the least.
In March, USDA Undersecretary Bill Northey visited Spiegel's farm to assess flood damage, meet with farmers, and share how they can seek help from the USDA.
There was a shop full of people, and they kind of looked around and had some questions for Mr. Northey, and I think he answered them well. And I was just glad to bring attention to this flood and the people affected by it.
Levees be rebuilt.
The impact of the flooding on levees was heavily discussed. Spiegel says the levee closest to his farm is one of the few along the Missouri River bottom that is still intact.
This area, we did have toppage of our levee system around our farm, but it didn't breach it, so we don't have any breaks, and that's part of the reason why it's taken so long for the water to recede.
He says they haven't been able to assess much damage yet. Pumping water has been his family's only option.
All this was covered with water. There's still corn stalks here, so we were just a few inches away from being real bad.
Spiegel says it would take hundreds of thousands of dollars in fuel and engine maintenance to keep pumping regularly.
When you've got water spread over this many acres, I mean, we're talking weeks, or maybe months to pump this down, if it's even possible. I don't even know if it's physically possible to pump this much water.
Field cleanup and managing weeds are just a few things planned for this fall. With the 3 local elevators closed, marketing will also be a challenge.
We're going to have long trips to the elevator. Our closest market for corn right now, we're probably 120 to 150 mile round trip.
Spiegel started farming with his dad and brother in 2002.
This is the most widespread, disaster that I've ever been a part of. Luckily, we have insurance and we have the preventive planning that will hopefully, work out all right, but it's not going to be the same as a normal production year.
Spiegel is optimistic about 2020, but knows it is not always the same for other farmers.
There's a billboard that says something about, farmers having depression, and there is help for that. And I think that we're going to see more and more of that. Financially, it's hard, but it's also hard to just see your land look like this, where it's underwater and, you got weeds growing on it. So we care about the land, and it's not fun for anybody.
Reporting from Watson, Missouri, I'm Shannon Yokley for Brownfield.